How do Arsenal solve Kvaratskhelia problem? Gunners' great Ray Parlour admits to right-back worrying ahead of Champions League final clash with PSG. Arsenal find themselves short on right-back options heading towards the Champions League final, with Ray Parlour admitting to GOAL that is a worrying given the considerable threat that Kvaratskhelia will pose. The Gunners are set to face Paris Saint-Germain, the reigning kings of Europe, on May 30th, but how will they solve their defensive issues and contain one of the best wingers in the business? That is one of the many questions that Mikel Arteta is mulling over heading into a legacy-defining fortnight for Arsenal. Two major trophies remain up for grabs at Emirates Stadium across domestic and continental competition. The Premier League leaders are looking to land a first top-flight crown in England since the fabled Invincibles of 2003-04. There are 2 games left on the schedule there, with Manchester City and Pep Guardiola continuing to breathe down the Gunners' neck. Once that fixture list has been completed, attention will turn to Champions League matters. Arsenal have never hoisted that iconic trophy aloft, but have the chance to rewrite the record books in Budapest. Overcoming PSG will be no easy task. Arteta's side boasts plenty of match winners, such as Bukayosaka and Victor Gyökeres, but need no reminding that they are coming up against Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele, Golden Boy sensation Desire Doué, and Georgian magician Kvaratskhelia. Right-back issues pose Kvaratskhelia problem for Arsenal. Arsenal have seen Jurrien Timber and Ben White ruled out of late with untimely knocks, leaving them short on options in the right-back berth, with obvious concerns being raised in North London. Quizzed on how the Gunners address those, Parlour, speaking to GOAL on behalf of 10bet, who offer punters sign-up offers, said of the challenge that Kvaratskhelia will present, "He's, for me, one of the best players I've seen for a long time. I mean, he's great. What he does with the ball, he chops inside. So that is a bit of a worrying." Quizzed on how the Gunners address those, Parlour, speaking to GOAL on behalf of 10bet, who offer punters sign-up offers, said of the challenge that Kvaratskhelia will present, "He's, for me, one of the best players I've seen for a long time. I mean, he's great. What he does with the ball, he chops inside. So that is a bit of a worrying. I don't know what sort of time Timber has been out. A long time. Whether he can throw him straight back in, I don't know, because it's nothing like when you've missed so many games out injured. You can't just suddenly go in and do a great job. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do there. I don't know. I mean, that's going to be the worrying for him. There's no doubt about that. Whoever plays there has just got to give his all. You're not going to be going forward too much as a right-back. You're going to be more defensive-minded against him because you know what he can do. So I think it won't be the full-backs flying forward like normal. I think it'd be a much more structured back four, saying, well, let the guys in front of us do the damage if we can go forward, but we make sure we don't get caught out of position, because you know how good they are on the break, and you know how good they are going forward. I think that's how Mikel Arteta will approach the game." Arteta, unsurprisingly, continues to play cards close to his chest, with the Arsenal head coach reluctant to give anything away when it comes to selection calls and tactical setups. The official line coming out of Emirates Stadium remains positive and upbeat. Arteta has said, when asked about the right side of his back four, with PSG beginning to loom into view, "We need to look at alternatives. The 2 players that we have there are not available at the moment. We need to look and do something else." The good thing is that we have experienced that all over the pitch this season. When we had issues, normally, they've been in the same positions as well. We have managed to find the right level of performance and consistency. I'm sure we will do that. Before contending with Kvaratskhelia and co., Arsenal need to overcome Burnley and Crystal Palace in Premier League action. The first of those contests will take place at the Emirates on Monday, before heading to Selhurst Park in South London on Sunday. Maximum points from those fixtures would deliver a first title in 22 years, allowing confidence and positivity to be established heading into a crucial clash with French foes that could see history made at the Puskas Arena. Paris Saint-Germain staff do not believe Ousmane Dembele has suffered a serious injury ahead of their Champions League final clash with Arsenal later this month. The French champions were handed a huge injury scare as they lost 2-1 to local rivals Paris FC on the final day of the Ligue 1 season. Even with the league title already secured, manager Luis Enrique named a strong side for their derby clash, despite the upcoming Champions League final. That bold decision looked to have backfired when attacking talisman Dembele picked up an early injury and was substituted after just 27 minutes. The France international was withdrawn with some early discomforts and headed straight down the tunnel for treatment after striker Gonçalo Ramos had replaced him. His withdrawal was a scary sight for PSG supporters, with less than 2 weeks to go until they face Arsenal in the Champions League final. The true extent of Dembele's injury should come to light as tests are conducted over the coming days, though reports suggest PSG staff do not believe the star has suffered a significant setback. Ousmane Dembele injury latest. Speaking after his side lost on the final day of the season, PSG boss Enrique offered very little in the way of an update, with further medical exams expected to take place on Monday. "I think it's just fatigue," Enrique stated in his post-match press conference. "What we're saying today is just speculation, but I don't think it's anything serious, and there are still 2 weeks left." Taking to social media, notorious transfer reporter Fabrizio Romano cited reports in France which claimed the injury setback was not serious. Romano wrote, "Paris Saint-Germain staff believe Ousmane Dembele injury suffered today is." Taking to social media, notorious transfer reporter Fabrizio Romano cited reports in France which claimed the injury setback was not serious. Romano wrote, "Paris Saint-Germain staff believe Ousmane Dembele injury suffered today is." Dembele left the pitch in pain, but RMC Sport reveals PSG consider it only ahead of the UCL final. Tests will follow to make sure the situation is under control. Get well soon, Ousmane. The 29-year-old has netted 19 goals and notched 11 assists in all competitions this season and will form a key part of the France squad at the World Cup this summer. Dembele was recently named League One Player of the Season for the second consecutive campaign and will do all he can to ensure he is fit enough to face Arsenal later this month. Luis Enrique's side does not play again before the Champions League final on Saturday, the 30th of May, while Arsenal face both Burnley and Crystal Palace in the Premier League before the showpiece event. Arsenal could wrap up the English title in midweek if Man City drop points to Bournemouth, which would allow Mikel Arteta to make wholesale changes to his side on the final day of the season.